So today we're gonna be kicking it, but I'm also gonna be doing some tutorial stuff. I'm going to be showing you guys how to tune drums. Alright, so you have this drum rack here, and these are your drum samples here. Alright, that's all the sounds that I'm using in the drums. You can mix this stuff in the drum rack, right? But the only thing about this and doing it in the drum rack when you guys are mixing is that, like, later on, if you want to sidechain something specific to like the kick, okay, and I'm pretty sure there's many other reasons, but one that I always run into is like if I wanted to sidechain something to like the kick, the snare, the hi-hats, you know what I mean? You cannot target certain things within the drum rack. And this is something why I used to always do my drumming on individual channels. But then also the workflow is a lot better when you're on the drum rack. So this part, it's literally for when you are about to mix. I can either put these into separate stems now, or I can tune them while they're in the drum rack. I'm going to do it to where I'm separating all the stems, okay? All the stems are going to be separated, and this is how you do it. So there's 13 instruments on this drum rack, okay? 13 different drum sounds, okay? And you have this drum rack here, and this is something that I do, is like, right now there's 2. The first one's going to be for the kick. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to label this first one the kick because I want my kick to be on there. And you're going to be labeling these as you go, all right? I want to take the snare here. I'm just going to drag and drop. You see what I did here? I'm going to take the snare, click, and drag it over to the second rack. And now that snare is on there, okay? You're going to go to your first drum rack, click the drum fill onto the third one, okay? And I say you label these as you go, or you color code them as you go, so you know which ones you're dropping on there and you don't accidentally re-drop something on there that's or take its place, you know what I mean? Now that you have this whole drum rack out of the way, okay, just play it back, make sure that it sounds okay. Everything sounds good. Everything sounds like it's in place. You know what I mean? It sounds exactly the same of like where I left it off. So the only thing we did now is we just took everything out of the first rack and we made it into individual stems. All right. Before you convert everything to audio, we're going to tune drums. All right. With this particular part of the tutorial, I'm going to use a free plugin. It's by a company called Melda Productions. The thing we're going to use is called MAnalyzer. So again, let me repeat that. We're going to be tuning the drums, and we're going to be using a free plugin called MAnalyzer by Melda Productions. On my plugins list, I'm going to drag that MAnalyzer here, okay? Anything that's audio, I also have the MIDI for. The root note is E. There's going to be a few different ways how you can tune your. Okay, you can do root notes, you can do relative key. Okay, if you know the scale, if you know the chords that are being played and all that other stuff, that's super helpful on tuning your drums. Okay, the first track, we're gonna open that up. We're going to make sure that we're on that record button, and what you're gonna do is either play that sound. So it's hitting between the A key and the B. Okay, and right here, this is what I'm looking at right here. I'm going to take this transpose, I'm going to tune it up a bit, and then play it again. So it's not going to sound right, because I'm going to be tuning that up too much. And then we're going to try to go to A. So we're going to actually pitch it down. There we go. So now it's an A, which is a relative note to E. So let's play it back and see how it sounds. It'll sound a bit more flush with the way that you're your tone sounds overall with the bass line and like all the other instruments. And that's something that why I think tuning drums is so important. Okay, and I'll repeat that again like later. All right, so now that we have that on there, we're gonna move that to the snare, and then let's see what our snare's at. So the snare's already in E because the peak of the body is there. Yeah, so it's already in E, so that's already tuned. We don't have to touch that at all. Same with the drum fill, because the drum fill is taking that into account with like, because I'm using the same snare from the drum fill to just create a normal snare, okay? So when you hear the drum snare or the drum fill, this is what I'm playing. So I don't have to tune that. That's already in tune, all right? Keep in mind when you're doing this, all right? So when for like hi-hats and all that stuff, sometimes pitching hi-hats can really take away the character of the hi-hat, okay? Especially on like the top end or even like the body. So you kind of want to find that balance, okay? So again, most of the time you find it within like the relative note, but then also it's okay to go like with what Sesh was saying, like the third or the fifth, you know what I mean? Of that note, okay? And this is why I'm telling you it's important to like know what chords are being played, what root note is being played, you know, what scale is being played, because whatever's in that scale, you know what I mean, you can also tune it to those keys. Let's say I'm doing E minor, right? So we have, E minor, we have E, G, B, D, and F sharp. So with my hi-hat, I'm choosing to play around with that scale or that chord, you know what I mean? So, and then I'm using like a pentatonic blues scales on the key, on the bass line. All right. Same thing with like the leads. So when it comes to drum tuning, okay, like where I'm looking at is like the body of it, right? And then like on the hi-hat, I'll probably try to look more of like where the transient or the harmonics are being created in the hi-hat, because that's what's probably going to be more heard in the hi-hat. Like you'll just kind of notice like for like the body of a hi-hat, you know what I mean, if it has body, you know what I mean? But then like for like the top end of a hi-hat, I think that's more important. So when you're tuning kicks, if you can target that knock, that punch, you know what I mean, that's the thing that's going to be perceived in the sound and the song overall. I'm going to do a comparison. So I'm going to open this project up again so you guys can hear the before and after of the tuned drums. So this is the before drums, okay? This is after. Before. After. There it is, guys. Okay, bye. I'm just kidding. To recap, I showed you guys how to tune your drums in Ableton using the transpose and the drum rack, along with an MAnalyzer tool that shows you what key is being played with your sounds that you're using on your drum kit. And I definitely feel like there's going to be more to cover on that like later. But for now, let's keep it simple. And I'm going to try to come up with different methods of what you guys can do to make more of that, you know what I mean, to make more use of that type of tool. Yo, I'm on Twitch every Monday, 6 p.m. doing community feedback for all the subs on the channel. You got something you guys don't want to miss out. And I'm here on YouTube every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Sometimes I'm late, but you know, your boy got stuff to do. But yeah, every Wednesday here on YouTube, 1 p.m. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, keep it funky. I'm calling your name, 'cause I'm in the mood.
stuck in this cage.